I think the best aspects are, you know, when things are going really well and the kids are very engaged, and when they're engaged because they are interacting with the smartboard, and I think that's the key to it. I mean, it's great from the teaching point of view because you can, you know, you've got this tool that you can stand out the front and you can use it to demonstrate things to the kids and to just call things up in an instant. But the true highlight is when they are truly engaging with it, and it's them who are actually planning and constructing an activity or interacting with an activity on the board itself. And that's when you really notice that they are either getting things or they're motivated. And just the Sudoku one, I mean that seems like a fairly simplistic activity, but the kids really like this one because they can actually interact with it. I mean, they'll happily do their Sudoku on the paper, but they love to be able to come out and I'll just go through and I'll say, I won't let anyone come out and take over the airtime, but I'll just pull out a name, and if it's a year 5, I say, okay, Josh, have you got one you can add? And we just gradually go through and do them, so the kids aren't just getting all the answers, they have to solve a few of their own, and they also know if their pop stick is pulled out. If they haven't got one solved on paper, they can always come out here and solve it. And introducing that simple activity on the whiteboard has exponentially, you know, increased their interest in doing these. They don't see it so much as being a maths task as a challenge. So many great things that you can do in an instant, all with a bit of planning and a bit of pre-organising and just trial and error as well, which keeps the students engaged and motivated and at times entertained, and that doesn't hurt. The challenges are time. A lot of these activities, especially when you're learning to set them up yourself for the first time, you get the usual hiccups. Things don't work the way you'd expect them to. For example, you know, when I first did this, not knowing that you could actually lock the grid, so every time the kids came, they'd move the whole grid across, and it'd be very frustrating. So challenges like that. Challenges where occasionally everyone's ready to go, but it's not necessarily working at the way you want it to. So for instance, you just think, well, we're going to be able to drag that, and the kids are coming out and it's not working as well as expected. Challenges, blackouts, when you've got or just, you know, glitches where you've pretty much got your whole day in your mind what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be using this, and then if it's not working the way you want it to, it's, you know, can create a bit of anxiety. I mean, no major problem, you get through it, but it's kind of more of a letdown or a disappointment than anything. Well, I think it enhances it because it's that linking it to what you would traditionally do, and I think that's really important. When you're doing something in a traditional manner, you can then link it to something you can do to complement it with the smartboard, and that to me, coupled with the visual aspect that it has with today's kids, where they are very visual, it just provides that additional aspect to what you're doing. So hence we're doing the space in the classroom, and we've done all the traditional types of things, and, you know, the on paper stuff, but then link it, you know, whether it was to websites or whether it was to in here in the content. Some of the things you could look at, which we could just go through here and pop things in. So everything was just, you're able to instantly enhance different things that you're doing with the students. We could actually make the models in our traditional sense. We could view it on the smartboard, and then we could relate it to what we were doing in relation to the technology and the animation. So this is what, we related it back to what we talked about in a traditional sense, made the models and technology, had a look at the interactive notebook file, and then done our own using time-lapse animation. And then there's all the spin-off activities that come from that. So we relate it back to some of the maths activities, so we attach protractors to the actual supports, and we talked about the number of revolutions and rotations. And of course, if we could go back into Smartboard, and the head protractors that actually attached their models. And we just did a bit of relating the 365 days of the year as it goes around the sun to the 360 degrees on the protractor, so they could actually relate that back to their. So just that whole being able to just pull that up